this a little bit smaller. So once the user comes into the screen, what we'll do is we'll confirm that booking, and what we'll do is create an input parameter, call it ID, and just set the data type to be the booking ID that we talked about earlier. And then the last step is to create an event. When the user actually comes to the screen, when the screen is ready, we'll just go ahead and update the booking. So we'll get the, well, first we need to get the booking using the ID that we passed in. We'll assign the is verified property that we talked about earlier, meaning that the booking has been verified. And we'll just set that to true. And we'll update the booking using the methods OutSystems created. So I've done a simple database operation here, just 3 nodes that I have to use. And once I publish this application, I can go back in and actually start creating a booking. So I'll just log out of this particular user and show the experience, I guess, from start to finish. So I'll go ahead and sign up. I did sign up earlier, so I won't show that part. I know my mobile number is password. Log in. I do need to sign up. It's just really quickly sign up. So I've already signed up, but it's not really me.
So reset the password.
Oh yeah, so I need to reset my password in the back end because I was resetting. So luckily I have everything ready for me to do that. Good thing. So that is not the right password. So all I'm doing is doing a bit of trickery to reset my password to what I want it to be so I can showcase the rest of this demo. There we go. Cool. So now back to the application. I'll log in using my details. Perfect. My booking comes up. I'll go on and book this particular clinic, I suppose. I hit book now. Oh my goodness. Okay. We gotta slow down. So let's just double check one last thing here.
So far.
Yeah, the client ID doesn't exist. That particular user. What I should do is I should delete this user. Should just rename this user. So what is Murphy's Law? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. I think that's what's happening here, to be honest. Alright, so now what I can do is just log out here, sign up, and try this one more time.
Oh,
Oops, my bad. And I'll sign up now. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Okay, so I've successfully registered, and what I should be able to do is log in. password, log in. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Let's log in again. Okay, so it dropped off to 0 for some reason. I need to check that. So now if I hit book now, what it should do is I should have gotten an SMS to indicate that I need to confirm my booking, and I did actually get an SMS. I'll just open my phone screen. Yep. Okay, so I got a notification on my phone to confirm my booking. I'll just click the confirmation link, and because I've used a different device, all I need to do is sign back into this to my device now. Because technically you'd be doing this on the same device. And there you go, the booking has been confirmed. Cool. So that is that experience at least. So what I'll do is I'll actually leave the link to the application on the screen, but I'll just go ahead and do some minor tweaks in the meantime. Yeah. Cool. So what I'll do is should be able to at least get the application for now, and yeah, hopefully I can resolve their issues before everyone downloads the application.
Yeah, so if you either scan the QR code, if you haven't got a QR code scanner on your phone, there's a short link up there, nov.ms/QT. So Davis and Paul, feel free to use that. So nov.ms/QT. This is a PWA app, so it may ask you to save it on your, if you can actually save it, and it'll actually save it as a app on your phone. The nice things about PWAs is we can bypass the whole App Store experience if you're having issues with the App Store. And in fact, I just want to go back to something that Angus was speaking about earlier, about the Close Contact app. The reason why it took 60 hours is because we had to refactor, because Apple originally rejected the app because it had the words COVID in the application. So we had to then go back, refactor it, and then deploy it as a PWA. So that's why it took so long. Otherwise it would have been 30 hours.
Yeah.
So does anybody understand what progressive web app technology is actually doing? Yes, no, sort of, maybe? Okay, cool. Excellent. So I don't have to make anything up. Sorry?
It's really good.
It's very fast, you know, and this is a very simple app, and it's a throwaway demo up, but it's to showcase the functionality of OutSystems and what we can actually really rapidly do. And Angus, how long did it take to build the Mono Work app from start to finish?
So it was actually 3 months, but really we did most of the development within 2 months.
Yeah, even though he said it was 60 hours to put together that, there was the urgency, but it's crazy, so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one actually worked, unlike the Australian one.
Yeah.
But we're still obviously doing a lot of releases and enhancements like you do with any app, but the core fundamental product was released within 2 months of testing. So it was very quick. We did 3 agile sprints to get it there.
So one of the things I want to point out, and Angus always points this out as well, is just because we're using a low-code platform, it doesn't mean that we have to bypass all your design patterns and architectural patterns when it comes to software development. Those fundamental things still stand. Decoupling of applications, making sure we use correct design patterns. Security is a big one, like in days gone past we're actually behind a firewall, so we can actually try and prevent bad actors coming in. These days, we're spending all our time in the internet-based space, so your identity is really important, security is important. You know, even through the development, we had pen testing done, and we were able to rectify any instances that come back or any issues that come back from our pen testing. So those software design practices, those software design patterns that we use, architectural patterns, are still very relevant, whether you're using low code or high code development practices.
So Renato,
Yep.
how does it work when you've got multiple developers working on your system at once?
I'm glad you asked. I'm going to ask Q to sort of answer that. When we've got multiple developers working on the same app.
Same app, yep, so it will, before you publish, it will try to merge your work together. As long as you're not working on the same screens, it should be fine, you just publish the work by merging.
So it does have conflict management, right? So you can do your conflict management. So it's very rare that you may have a developer working on the same component or the same function at the same time. But if you do, you will have the merge conflict, and then that's where a human has to come in and say, yes, I want to accept these changes or override these ones. So whilst we're just finishing up here, any other questions that you may have, either for myself, for the technical guys, for the guys in the room, or for the guys over in Melbourne?
I've got one.
Yeah.
So obviously that creates a CRM app. Say that you, 2 days out from the booking, want to send an SMS to reconfirm.
Yep.
Does it allow that automations?
Yeah, if that's a business process, absolutely, we can go through. So we can have what's called a timer job.
Yeah.
So we can look at a timer that would run on a daily basis. So are there any bookings in 2 days' time? If yes, then send a confirmation. So as I said, we've done a lot of work in the mining and resource sectors, but we've also done a lot of work in aged care, healthcare, automotive as well. So in the aged care around, client management, client portals, etc., bookings, app service bookings and so forth. In the construction space around construction management applications, again, interfacing with these legacy ERP systems. In the mining and resource sector, a multitude of different types of apps, from back-end apps that are dealing with user delegation and user provisioning in SAP, all the way through to front-facing apps for clients to actually be able to book their sessions and so forth.
So what's at the back end of all this?
So that's a really good question. So when OutSystems compiles the code, it compiles down to .NET assemblies and SQL Server scripts. So what's running on the back of this is iOS and Microsoft SQL Server. Now, one of the beauties about OutSystems is there's a no lock-in agreement. So if you say in the future we've built these apps, but for whatever reason, change or whatever, we need to actually move away from it, you get your source code and human readable source code, as well as all the assembly binaries, and so forth, all the SQL scripts. When you get
So does it create audit trails when the users enter their data in? And does it create it of who wrote that record back, or from the mobile number of the user?
So it can be configured to everything in OutSystems audit trails. So there is a large audit trail against who's done what from the developer's point of view as well as the front end. If you need to extend that, it's fully extendable. So if you say we not only need to capture this particular event, but we need to capture another type of event, then we can plug that in as well.
And to add to your question before, the architecture we used was a back end and a front end and a web version. So when you ask about being able to run things, it's essentially just running in the back end. So you create user forms for your administration stuff, but that's totally separate from your UI.
And I think you saw before we had just 2 roles, anonymous and registered. You can extend those roles to as many roles as you require in our systems as well. So we're ready to go? Almost. So guys, I know you guys over Reese didn't really get to see what we're doing, but there anything that you wanted to add about the speed of OutSystems, or any of those questions around, you know, at the back end, what's the technology running on and so forth? Can't hear you, I think you're muted.
Sorry, Paul, yeah, I did hear, but the only thing I would add is obviously the speed and agility is one of the key functionalities of OutSystems. What you saw created there could be created in any technology, could be written in high code, and produce the same output at the end of the day. It just wouldn't have been able to be done so fast, and it wouldn't be able to be done so repeatably. So the advantage of the OutSystems platform, or any platform per se, is that speed and agility, the ability to iterate fast and also get feedback. So one of the things that you may show, I don't know if you guys are going to show this, but the end user can actually annotate on the interface and say what they like and what they don't like about it, and that feedback can go directly to the developer to show, you know, I want it on the left hand side rather on the right hand side, because that just feels better for us as a user, or, you know, can this bit be bigger and this bit be smaller. All that feedback loop can be accelerated so that you can actually start creating and getting minimum viable product out to your customer faster. And the quicker you do that, the quicker, more likely it is you're going to get valuable feedback. So not just what you think it should be like, but what your actual user wants it to be like. And that gets you to time to value faster. I think, as Paolo said, one of the things we also do is we don't lock you in. So this isn't a situation where if you build on OutSystems, you're then beholden to OutSystems forever. You have the ability to extract your code should you not want to continue with the OutSystems platform, because you own it. That's what you created. It's your IP. We're just the tool set that you created with. So from that perspective, you don't need to be locked into OutSystems should at some point in the future you decide that you want to go down a different path as well.
And just on that point as well, if you've got existing IP that you've built and you want to repurpose, so as an example, you've got some high code logic sitting in somewhere else that you say, well, actually we need to use that logic in OutSystems. You don't have to necessarily rebuild that. You can import those assemblies, those binaries, providing that they've got like read-only properties as you saw, or sorry, public properties as you saw tied to. You can actually import those binaries into OutSystems and leverage any IP or business logic that you've got existing in your business today. Cool. So, Ty, you know, coach, I've got a review.
Yeah, so I'm just actually resetting everyone's account. Because yeah, that one definitely had a bit of an issue, slight issue.
That was 0?
Yeah, for some reason
Dropped the 0.
it dropped the 0. Yeah, so.
Yeah, that's right. Pick up, right? So yeah. So whilst Ty's resetting those at the moment, one second. One is how's lunch been, by the way, guys? Has it been okay? Just want to get some feedback. The venue's been okay. We should have, you know what we should have built? An event survey.
Oh, yeah,
We've got time.
Yeah, that's right. So that's good. Okay. So no other questions at this moment until we can start to interact and so forth? I can't use my phone because my phone's being used to record.
Actually, I think it's.
So you may have to swipe that. No, you have that yet.
no, you should just be able to, yeah, just relocate to
Projects to each side. Each side is a separate project.
Okay. So guys, if you can download the app or get the app over on your phone, log in, as you logged in before, and look a map and make a booking and see whether you get a SMS back with a link back to the application.
What each job has is all the skills requirements, so all their licenses, the tickets, and everything else. And they can't assign themselves to a job unless they meet all the criteria.
If you've already downloaded it and registered that, that's
That's the
not
one
again.
and the small branch license. You've gone to the board, they've asked one to set in the start. So we'll have a team of 122. Is that like 4? We want another set of stuff, so we'll go. Okay, next. You can only make 20. Cutting the stuff. How are we going to do that? Go figure it out. So I originally got this massive wish list. Oh, nothing. Anyone would have been nothing. Tell you what, let's break it down into 4 things. Everybody knows 4 things. We know what your jobs are. We allow the people to come in, check what their skill set is.
So just let us know if you've got a SMS back after you've booked or if you've got a invalid username.
When, for instance,
I've exceeded my intent.
Oh, security works
let's
well.
go to the implementation.
Have you got the other?
Set it up.
The other one?
That's what you're gonna get. Said no, that's the wish list. We need to build the phone. No, I want to.
See, or at least
Then they had an issue. The accident was developed in the
You got the SMS?
again. Oh, without moving.
So that side works, this side doesn't.
So I think I know.
Good thing we're in dev, right? We should still be doing our UAT testing, we're in dev testing.
Risky.
So hands up, who's locked out at the moment? You're locked out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So that's not
Sorry? Oh, thank
Okay, so guys,
look in the way of
we do have a couple of bookings happening, and obviously there are some bugs to fix up. But I just want to finish up by saying before we go on, or before we finish off any Q&As, but hands up to those of you that feel that something like a platform like OutSystems would actually benefit your organisation as far as accelerating some of your software development. Yeah. Cool. Excellent. Okay. Look, what I'd like to do is extend an offer to everyone in the room today, where we would like to come out and do maybe an ideation session, run a workshop within your organisation, ideation session, see what applications you've currently got, and maybe to see whether or not we could look at implementing something like OutSystems in your organisation. So that's available. Next week, Jess will probably get in contact to start booking some of those sessions. That would be great if we could. But on that, I just wanted to say thank you to the guys in Melbourne for making the time to be on the call.
That's good.
Thank you to Angus, and thank you to Ty and Quasar for assisting today. So guys, we're going to wrap that up now, but look, we've got cheese on the table. Ty's going to finish eating his main course. Really want you know, to sort of start to really share some insights, so feel free to hang around and network and so forth. But again guys, thank you very much for your attendance today.
Thanks guys, see ya.
See ya.